MechWarrior 5 Clans Ghost Bear DLC Flash Storm. It's out. I've played through it on stream once already, so I want to give my thoughts, my initial impressions, some takeaways, just a generalistic kind of discussion on Flash Storm. Spoiler free, by the way. What's up, everybody? I'm James. Welcome to Mechanical Mayhem. Now, I encourage you to share your thoughts. I just would hope that if you do, you keep it spoiler free as well for this video. But in any case, Flash Storm, it's here finally, and play through it. So let's talk about it. Now, the TLDR is definitely worthwhile purchase. If you enjoy MechWarrior 5 Clans, you play through it, worth coming back for this. If you know, one of those one and done playthroughs for you, definitely worth coming back for Ghost Bears DLC Flash Storm. If you're like me, I think it's a no-brainer. You obviously knew you were going to enjoy it because it's a lot of fun. I think they did a fantastic job with this DLC. This is what people envision when they hear MechWarrior DLC. Exactly what we got here. So, if that's all you wanted to know, purchase with confidence, in my opinion. If you've been on the fence with MechWarrior 5 Clans in general, it's definitely worthwhile buying the base game, with this game at the same time, or this DLC at the same time. I don't think you'll be disappointed as long as you enjoy this style of gaming, obviously. Now, with that said, let's first discuss the gimmicks of Ghost Bears DLC, the elemental combat, and the mega bosses. So, elemental combat, kind of a MechWarrior 5 Clans gimmick that didn't come out at launch because they weren't ready for it, but they wanted it to. So we finally have it here. And I gotta say, I think it works out quite nicely. It's not overpowered, in your face, must have it or you're not going to win, nor is it something that you're like, I wish I could turn off, because honestly, it's fine. It feels just fine how it is. Would be cool to have this in the Smoke Jaguar campaign, but yeah, I don't believe that's going to happen anytime soon, because, well, that's going to be a lot of work. But for no reason, because the Smoke Jaguar campaign is fine without it. But it definitely makes you go, huh, would have been cool to have that in the Smoke Jaguar campaign. And I can definitely think of certain campaign areas where, you know, you can almost see it. But anyways, it's not perfect, but nothing in any gaming is. It's a little finicky. Right now, they can get caught in some terrain features. It doesn't happen every mission, but I've definitely had it happen throughout the campaign. But it's not anything that gets you ragey, or it shouldn't anyway, because it doesn't really matter that much. It's not really going to impact your success. You don't need them to be somewhere to trigger something. So eventually you get them back. But, you know, I can't even blame the game like people will want to do, because it's a mech simulator game, and these guys are really small. Like, the hitboxes of an elemental are much smaller than a mech, and their movement style and capability will let that small hitbox get places that a mech hitbox never was meant to get. And so getting hung up on some terrain features is just going to be par for the course. I'm sure they'll patch it to try and fix or improve that, but it's not going to be perfect. But it was a lot of fun, and it solidifies the thought that I've had for years now, which is, oh, I'd love to have an elemental-based video game where you are an elemental doing a lot of cool stuff like this, because, well, it would be awesome. So, love to see that. Don't know if we will, but I'd love to see that. I think visually they made a nice update to the elemental armor. You know, for a modern look, it looks very cool. I love to see a 1/60th scale model of that. Anyways, with that said, the other gimmick is mega bosses. So the elemental thing, I think, works. I think it's great. I think the mega bosses are fun. I don't think that they're going to be as intrinsically fun all the time like the elementals are. It's a balancing act type of fun, but so far I think they're navigating it. I think PGI is navigating it quite well. I had some initial concerns with this whole mega boss concept until facing it. It definitely wasn't easy, but it wasn't something where I was like, oh, this is going to be like a brick wall to get past or anything like that. Like certain games have like the wall that's really hard to get past. Not at all. But if you're not careful with a gimmick like this, it could easily be too silly, crazy, weird for the setting, or too just difficult, or a bit of both. And right now, they're on the balance beam, navigating that, I think, correctly so far. So I will say that about the mega bosses.
Fire up that.
In future DLCs, I would urge caution in trying to go even bigger and crazier with them, because I think it's going to get to a point where it's like, look, we can't. That's enough. So I think so far they're doing pretty good though.
Fine, whatever.
Now, part of this DLC, of course, is new mechs. New mechs, a little bit of retooling of stuff, and apparently a soundscape update as well. I wasn't expecting. So we have 8 new mechs plus the original roster, right? And the original roster is what, 16 mechs? So that's a good number of mechs for a 12 mission campaign. And considering that we are veteran and we're starting off with, a variety of mech weight classes, the way in which you unlock mechs and get mechs in Ghost Bear's campaign is different by design, and then there's having this flurry of multiple different chassis weight classes coming at you at the same time. It definitely makes it feel like a fast-paced mech unlocking situation, a little bit overwhelming at times. It doesn't detract from the gameplay, but it does make you go, whoa, let me see what I should unlock and prioritize amongst also doing repair and everything else. So, luckily, because of the style of the campaign for Ghost Bear, it fits into the story narrative, but it is, in terms of feeling rushed, you do feel a little rushed from mech to mech to mech. Like, I don't get a chance to really just rip roar in a mech chassis for several missions straight. You could, but you feel like you really should just bump up to the next thing. So there is that. Anyways, though, it doesn't detract from the gameplay, and it's just par for the course when you have that many mechs and you have 12 missions. To be fair, they do account for that because the Kerenskys and the merit points don't feel particularly lacking. The Kerenskys feel a little tight, but the merit points feel like if you're spending it responsibly, you can do everything still. Plus, when you're unlocking an Omni-Mech for the first time with the merit points, pretty much, you also get 500 chassis experience to either unlock another Omnipod set right away with, or to use as a basis to build up for the more expensive Omnipod sets to either use or use as part of build crafting. So they kind of account for that a little bit, but give you a little bit of a bump of experience right away for the chassis. And this also holds true for doing other stuff, such as getting ready for missions with research and pilot experience, because so many things have been researched already in this campaign to at least level 1, sometimes level 2. So that does help in prioritizing what you want to kind of finish off and make feel super powerful in your playthrough. So that's rather nice. And we're talking about a Keshik. They're veterans.
Of course they are.
So a lot of them, well, pretty much they all are pretty stacked when it comes to skill points being, unlocked for them already. So that's also going to be a nice little bump start, considering we don't have the same number of missions like the Smoke Jaguar campaign to really build it up. So all that makes it so, while yes, there's less missions, you don't feel like you're lacking in pilot experience or lacking in mech choices or anything like that. And as far as soundscape goes, I feel like particularly for certain things they added some sounds, like a different, or just added an overheat protection sound, and I feel like they changed some of the laser sounds a little bit. Not a complaint, I just feel like they did, and that's cool. I wasn't expecting it, so it caught me by surprise. Lastly, let's talk missions, story, campaign stuff. No spoilers, not going into it, just some takeaways. If you're a Ghost Bear fan, I'm curious your thoughts, because I feel like Ghost Bear fans are going to really like this DLC. I think they did a great job for Clan Ghost Bear. I'm a Smoke Jaguar fan, and I really liked it. So I think Ghost Bear will definitely enjoy it, Ghost Bear fans. It's a nice glimpse into the clans in general, plus, of course, Ghost Bear in this case, and an important part of their invasion corridor in Operation Revival is what you're doing, the conquering of Alshane. So really great to see that in action. As far as the missions go, we have 12, but these are full course missions that have quite a nice serving size to them. They're generous servings of this full course mission style of meal for each of the missions. My first playthrough probably took me around 6 to 7 hours, and that includes watching the cutscenes and doing stuff in the mech lab and pilot experience and stuff like that. So I think that's a pretty decent length. There are AAA title games that I played that didn't last that long. So definitely I think a very nice amount of length, to be sure. Definitely your money's worth in my opinion, but everybody's opinion varies on that. I think the story is told well between the cutscenes and the banter and dialogue and everything else and the missions themselves. I think the story
Some salvage.
and it's like a multi-layer story going on here. I think is done, very well, especially in a time in the time frame of 12 missions like this. I don't feel like anything's particularly rushed at all, and that's good because you don't want to feel rushed. You just want to feel like a story is being told well, and you want it to feel complete, and we definitely get that. Would I like to see more missions? Yeah, but that's because I like the game, and I would like to see more missions for Smoke Jaguar as well. But not because I feel like it needs it.
Okay.
So I think they did a very good job with that. And my hope is that the numbers for the metrics that the company wants to see will be there so they can get the green light for more DLCs like this. We still have, the Jade Falcons and Clan Wolf to go through, not to mention Steel Viper and Nova Cat for add-ons for as like reinforcement clans. Plus, the rest of the clans didn't participate in the invasion. There's a whole lot of Thailand they can do here if they so desired. So, my hope is that this will greenlight future projects because I think they did a very good job. I said it before with the standard MW5 clan cinematics, and I'll say it again here. If they were to make a mini-series of sorts with this team that makes the cinematics that you have to pay for to watch, I would definitely buy it immediately because I think it would make for a really cool miniseries. And it's not like I'm just looking for mech combat. A lot of the cutscenes aren't that. That would be cool to see, of course. And I think they do a great job with that. But just in general, I think they could make a really cool miniseries if they wanted to. I like playing the video games, of course, but I'm just saying that's how much I enjoy these cutscenes, and we have a good amount of them here as well. So with all that said, basically, like I said, I think it's a worthwhile purchase. I definitely am pleased with this. I don't dislike Ghost Bear, but obviously my favorite is Smoke Jaguar. But I do enjoy Ghost Bear, and I think they have portrayed them rather nicely. And if you're a Ghost Bear fan, weigh in on that. Let me know for sure, because I am curious. I think they did, but I'm also not like a big fan of them, so maybe you have certain criteria that I'm not aware of. But I think job well done. Worthwhile purchase if you are on the fence about it and you've played MechWarrior 5 Clans and you've liked it. Don't worry, take the plunge. You'll definitely enjoy it. And let's get an Elemental video game because that would be awesome. Anyways, that's all I got for you. Thanks so much for taking the time out to stick through this. If you made it to the very end, consider subscribing. Alpha strike that subscribe button, be part of future conversations. I do stream on Twitch occasionally. You can check out the link in the video description. And until next time, take care.